So as we move to the next section, I'd like to introduce Jaideep Gopinath, who heads the India business at Position², and Darrel, who's our social media expert. Over to you guys.
So while they're actually setting up, we just give you handouts.
Hi everyone. So most of this session will be Darrel, and I'll just jump in with anything that we have to add contextually to. So basically, the handout will help you through the. So what Darrel's going to do really is open up panels. So we've taken 3 of the main channels: LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and we'll go over them sequentially. And feel free to jump in and ask any kind of questions, including how ads are placed or what button you hadn't heard about. Darrel's the expert, so anything. I'm hoping some of you have at least tried some of these, opened the back end of some of these social media platforms, and then in a general sense we can talk about, we can even open up the discussion to talking about the context in which these platforms have come about. So lots of great insights from the panel as well as the keynote, so we can continue that discussion. So my take on the whole thing was, while this was a social media marketing discussion, one of the basic things is that it's a marketing discussion, and social is just a channel. So to answer your point about whom to whom through social media, it doesn't work like that in marketing. Think of social media as just one more channel, and to Vinod's 11 points, it's basically, if you look at it, it's just marketing points. It's step by step how to do marketing. And as all good marketers, we like to hype up a lot of the stuff. There's ABM, there's social media marketing, organic. It goes on, data analytics, BI, business intelligence. We're now talking about artificial intelligence. AI is a big thing. So given that we all are marketers, we should know we are part of the hype. It just helps us. But marketing generally doesn't change. So it's still marketing like it was, and these are just channels. And always, when new mediums, the only difference between digital and social media is the platforms are changing and the medium is such. So, similar activity must have happened when, before there was newspaper, and then when television came in, it became, you had these same kind of, people trying to jump onto the bandwagon. So to get to discussions where you were asking whether should I use Facebook or not, one thing to keep in mind is that Facebook and LinkedIn or any of this, you're also the product. Your data is being sold to other marketers, and you're a marketer as well, trying to use the platform. So that kind of makes it very difficult. So you've got to put on 2 different hats. You can't. So sometimes you use you're on Facebook, you're constantly using Facebook for yourself, and you think that, hey, no one's going to be using it, so you should switch off. When you put your marketing hat on, Facebook has people that you want to convert into customers. So that's the switch you've got to switch on. So because you're consuming social media and you're part of the channel, shouldn't make assumptions that it's not useful for you because you use it, or Satyendra uses it only to make sure his daughter's in check. So it shouldn't be that. You should be looking at it from keep changing hands. So yeah, I'll move it over. Darrel will put the slides up and we'll start. I'll just talk from here so it's easier as and when it comes in.
Does anyone need introduction to how to set up Facebook accounts or nothing, right? So I can easily deep dive into how to do contextual targeting, behavioral targeting, and all that stuff. Can I? Okay, cool. I think all of you must have the handouts. The first few basic pages are some information that you would need, or something that will be useful in your day-to-day implementation of social media. I'm not going to go in depth into it because I think most of you have more relevant questions regarding the tactics, how to do, and the results and how to measure the results and all that stuff. So I'm going to straight away go into page 5, which is start off with the LinkedIn targeting, which is the key channel for most of you, I think, who are into the B2B segment. So, so this is one of our clients. We ran a campaign for them for a robotics product. It's basically again a B2B segment. They have a robotics arm which helps automate processes in various manufacturing industries and automotive, in other pharmaceutical and stuff like that. So I'll just show you the kind of targeting that we did as an example, and I'll also give you examples of how best to do targeting on LinkedIn. So as you know, I think even the handout I gave you highlights the various targeting options available. So it's pretty easy and straightforward on LinkedIn. The key thing to remember on targeting on LinkedIn is you shouldn't be too narrow, neither should you be too broad. The more narrower you go, the audience becomes very less. Anything less than 10K or 20K, LinkedIn doesn't respond well in terms of getting your impressions and clicks. So you need to be at least above, if you go as per recommendations, LinkedIn says you need to be above at least 30,000 audience members. But we have noticed that even 15,000 and above actually works. So that is one sort of a tip to keep in mind when you're doing LinkedIn targeting. So the very basic targeting for any industry, B2B or B2C, whatever you do, starts off with industry level targeting, what kind of industry you're trying to reach out into. So we started off for them on any industry that has basically requirement for automation, like computer hardware, which involves assembly of laptops and phones, your desktops, monitors and all that stuff. Then you have semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, food production, electronics. So we identified a lot of industries. This definitely does involve a lot of research. You need to put in a lot of initial research before you actually start strategizing and implementing the campaigns. So during our research, this is what we found, that these are the level of industries which actually give you the desired results. So and then on top of that, we are saying that we want only people in the IT, operations and engineering and research sectors or functions basically, who perform these functions within the organization. And we also have excluded some. So basically what LinkedIn does is, even if you don't give a specific function or you mention a function, LinkedIn automatically sometimes displays your ads to functions that are not included in your list. You have performance metrics which LinkedIn gives you, which sort of tells you something like this, which sort of tells you what all functions your ads were displayed to. And if those functions are not within your parameters, then you should ideally exclude them so that you are avoiding any sort of irrelevant clicks to your ads. And then we have also talked on, in addition to industry and function, we are saying that we want to reach out to a specific seniority like a manager, a senior, a VP partner. This data is basically gathered directly by LinkedIn. It uses a lot of algorithms that it has, and it figures out what job title belongs to what group or what seniority. So you'll be able to use all these detailed targeting options that LinkedIn has, and drive the expected results. So in terms of what...
The second, actually one of the questions from the audience is, how do you get to this page?
Okay. No, I heard
So it's different, so you start simply because of the people I think are having a hard time differentiating between what they see on LinkedIn as when they are the audience, like LinkedIn.
Got it.
So if you could just
Yeah, just for the benefit of those who have not done,
Probably if you can enter from the LinkedIn website,
yeah, this
from their product, and then come.
yeah. So once you log in, this will be your homepage, LinkedIn homepage. This is your news feed. On the news feed, you have advertise. This is where you go. And then click on manage ads. You'll have the accounts. If you don't have the accounts, on the top right hand corner you have the option to create an account using your company page. Give the account a name and choose the currency in which you would like to it be billed, and that's it. So once that is done, the account appears here in your campaign manager list. And that is how you get into that. And once you have that, you have a create campaign button on the top right hand corner. It gives you three different options. One is a LinkedIn newsfeed, text ads, and sponsored in mail. I'll get into the details of sponsored in mail, which is a much more effective way of reaching out to B2B customers in a second. But what we were looking at currently for Epson is basically a sponsored content ad, which basically looks like this. So it has a text on top with an image and a header. This is optional at the bottom, and then there is a URL. And basically that's about all that you have for a LinkedIn ad, newsfeed ad basically. Does that answer the questions, or do I need to go a little more in depth into it?
That should be.
Okay.
So it's, I guess that was taking off from a place where we've already done all the thinking as far as the marketing is concerned. We've decided what ads, what content, what personas we're going after, and all that stuff. So all that's already pre-decided. We've kind of worked it with the client, to decide that is between two marketing folks that put this together, and the sales folks, because you also, one of the things you want to take care of is how these leads go in and drop into sales. So it's post that so we aren't getting into the marketing strategy of it. So some of the steps, the first set of steps that Vinod was talking about before the play have already been taken care of. So you mentally just think about it after everything is set. Now we're running it. So it gives you a tactical approach to what you can do. So basically, it's trying to get out the takeout for you should be the benefits that you can. So things that you see here would get to try to trigger ideas for your own product or your own system and how they'll be helping you. And in order to do that, we're just using a B2B context. It's a robotics manufacturing arm that we're trying to sell from a large brand company. But don't think of it as that. Just try to make triggers in your head. So every time you're also consuming social media, keep looking at, like if you see a new ad or something that interests you, while you're there for whatever reason you're there for, you still got to keep getting yourself thinking about how it can help you. Can this ad or a similar type of ad help my product? Then you understand what the medium is. So you keep switching on this marketing hat and your consumer hat. So
thanks, Jaideep. So basically the way I wanted to do this is give you a generic idea of what the targetings and all that is, and get into sort of a Q&A session if you have any, because I think a lot of you are familiar with LinkedIn and have products that you're trying to sell on LinkedIn. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Before we get into that, I think I would also like to highlight three different new targeting options that LinkedIn has launched in the last couple of months. One is a sponsored in mail, which basically goes and sits in the LinkedIn inbox of your target audience, and they have to basically pay attention to whatever you're sending, whatever kind of messaging that you're sending. It goes and sits in their messaging menu that you see here. That in-mail can be hyper targeted. You can address the person by name and also personalize the content based on what kind of profile that you're reaching out onto. That is one of the targeting options. The other is basically you have custom audiences or matched audiences, which is basically if you have a list of accounts or contacts that you would like to reach. Most of the businesses today have an email list or a contact list. So you can upload your emails and contacts to LinkedIn and tell LinkedIn to start showing your ads or send emails to those specific people. So this is a very new targeting option that's come up from LinkedIn. Target list of accounts is basically a list of or a group of companies that you would like to reach out to. Let's say you want to reach out to a company like a Microsoft or an Infosys or a Wipro. So what you can do is upload a list. Minimum required size is about 300 company names. So you can make a list of about 300 companies and upload that into LinkedIn. And on top of that, you can add additional targeting, like you want to reach out to the IT head of that company or the VP or the CEO of that company. You can do that. So this is a hyper targeting that's available on LinkedIn, and it's extremely useful for people who are in the B2B sector. So these are the two options, and then there's of course retargeting. LinkedIn did not have retargeting until about a month ago. So that retargeting was also launched about 1.5 months ago, I think. The principle remains the same, that you tag all visitors to your website and remarket to them with different messaging or different ad types or whatever it is on LinkedIn and LinkedIn partners. So anybody has any questions around LinkedIn?
I just want to quickly add, so think of LinkedIn as a piece of software, and what you're seeing are really features that they're selling you, those features. It's also important to keep updated with updates because LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter compete with each other for your marketing dollars, so to speak. So they're constantly upgrading their systems. So, and with every marketing wave you want to get on as marketers, first on that wave, at least in context to your product. So it's good to keep updated. For example, retargeting was something that LinkedIn wasn't doing, which they have started doing. So it's something that you might want to do if and then retargeting is a great option. So it's important to keep in touch with the features and functionality of various social media platforms, and not just limited to LinkedIn. It should be in general. It could be Quora, it could be a couple of others.
The target talk about that. So I don't think the people whoever are working in that particular company will receive a message.
Yeah, so that depends on your targeting. The basic top level targeting would be the company name. So if you have a specific set of people you want to reach out to, let's say the HR department within that company, you can control that by adding a job function. But if you want to reach everybody within that company, then you can leave the rest of the options open. So it will reach out to everybody within that company.
Basically selling that data. So if you're working in a company or LinkedIn is allowing marketers to send you personally an ad. They also, another feature is their in-mail. They're also allowing you to send an in-mail to anyone individually in that company. So they're basically selling. So the whole social media platform, on one hand, you are the product. You, meaning all of us, are products of that. They're selling your data, and we're also marketers trying to use that product. So it's two sides of that coin.
So when you upload the list, set of target audience and
No, so you upload a list of company names. LinkedIn already has the various department heads of these companies, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Because they, any company, for most of the companies that are on LinkedIn, there are all those people who are there as part, so you can see them. So they're basically able to place your ad or our ad into right in front of those folks individually. So you can do it by department, and then you can also subdo it by title. So you can get, so it's pretty laser focused. So you could be getting, head of HR at Infosys, Jesse, or whatever, just say. It can go down right. So, and one of the things about LinkedIn is, given that they control so much of they have so much of this data. They're expensive as a channel because they're able to reach anybody. You can reach Obama, you can reach Donald Trump, you can reach just about anyone. So they have put a value on that dollar. So it's so they have their constraints. But there are organic ways to reach the same people. So you as an individual could also reach the same person using your profile depending. So that's the organic part of social media. So in LinkedIn, let's say it's BPM, I heard BPM somewhere. Was it the same?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's, let's say you are active on BPM groups and you have a